Hi everyone, welcome to Things Lucy Reads. I'm Luce and this is a Star Wars wrap-up video. So the first one that I'm going to talk about is Aftermath Life Debt by Chuck Wendig, which is the sequel to Aftermath. So the first one is set immediately after the Emperor has been killed and the New Republic has taken control of the galaxy, and kind of just explored the initial fallout and how the government was getting itself set up, and how a couple of planets were still under Imperial rule and they had to be broken out of it. One of them was Akiva, which is the home planet of the main characters Nora and Temmin Wexley. So the first book was about introducing us to them and then liberating their home planet, and then getting the assignment from Leia that carries them into this book. And the assignment that they got was to hunt down Ray Sloane, who is Grand Admiral of the Imperial Fleet, and just, to find her and arrest her, and all of the other Imperial leaders as well that had been at the meeting on Akiva in the first book. But that goes a little bit awry when they run into Han Solo and they decide to go and help him to liberate the planet of Kashyyyk, which is something that Han and Leia have been trying to get the New Republic to do, but the New Republic are just like, no, there are other things we need to focus on. Kashyyyk is too far out, it's not going to make a big enough statement. It's an endless series of no's, and it's personal for Leia, and that was part of the reason why the New Republic wouldn't do it, because Leia was Chewie's friend, as if that should mean anything. So anyway, the New Republic wouldn't do it, so Nora and Temmin and then Jas and Sinjir for the first book are also in this, and then also John Burrell, who is in the very end of that book, he's also in this as well. They kind of go and help to liberate Kashyyyk, and while they are there, they find someone who, to have them back should be a very joyous occasion and everything should be fine. But it all goes to shit and nothing is what they thought, and there's some brainwashing, and yeah, that was very intense. Before they'd gone to Kashyyyk, when they were at the Rebellion base, Nora and Wedge Antilles kind of had a little bit of a thing, and God, I love that so much. I ship it like you wouldn't believe. And Wedge's relationship with Temmin, and I just have so many feelings. Temmin's dad was arrested when he was like 12, and like Wedge is the first male role model that he's had for years, and just their relationship was so great, and I just really hope that in the next book Nora and Wedge like get married or something, because that would be perfect, and I just want everything to work out well for these guys because I love them so much. This book is so amazing, and so is the first one. I can't even be articulate about it because I love them too much. Something else that's really exciting, in the first book we had Temmin's lesbian aunts, and there were a couple of characters that would casually mention that they had same gender parents, but they were like off the page and they were only mentioned once, but they were there. And then Sinjir came out as gay, and then in this book he gets a boyfriend, and there is also a pirate mentioned who uses gender neutral pronouns. Oh god, I said this when I wrapped up the first book, but I'm just seeing myself in a franchise that I love for the first time, and it's better than I ever thought it would be. Definitely read these books if you've been thinking about picking them up. They are fantastic. Chuck Wendig has a really interesting writing style. He writes in third person omniscient but present tense, and so it gets you like drawn into the story, and it's really, there's a real sense of like immediacy and suspense, and you're like right there with everything, and he keeps track of all the characters and you don't ever get lost because the POV switches all the time. He's really, really good at writing omnisciently, much better than I ever will be, and it's fantastic. So moving on, the next book that I read, I will pull up the cover for you, is a single issue comic, and it is C-3PO the Phantom Limb, which explains how 3PO got the red arm that he has in the 7th film. That was one of my favorite moments. Han Solo, you probably don't recognize me because of the red arm. That's not how that works, 3PO. So this is the cover. So 3PO is on this mission with a few other droids. They have captured a protocol droid that is working for the First Order, And then they kind of run into some danger and have to get out of it. And it ends up being only 3PO and this other droid left, and all of the others get destroyed along the way. It was really, really interesting. A very good commentary on the fact that droids are programmed, and so they'd captured this droid that was working for the First Order, but the droid had been programmed to, like, by the First Order. It had been programmed to be that way. So, like, it wasn't its fault, because it's a droid and it has very limited freedom and very limited free will. And so as they went along, 3PO and this other droid were kind of discussing that, and, you know, what does it mean to be a droid and be aligned with the evil side? Like, they don't have a choice in the matter. It's a droid, you know what I'm saying? And, like, I expected it to be just, like, a funny little fluff piece, but it was actually extremely, like, deep, philosophically filled with a lot of, like, heavy questions, really difficult to answer questions, and it was actually, like, really fantastic, and I really enjoyed it. I gave it 4 stars. I honestly didn't expect it to be the way that it was, but it was so good, and I would definitely recommend it. I will put a link down below to the Amazon page and the Comixology page, whichever one you prefer. You can go get it there. And also, Poe had a cameo in the end, so that made it even better. And the next book that I read was also really, really fantastic, number 111, and it is So You Want to Be a Jedi by Adam Gidwitz, which is a retelling of The Empire Strikes Back. But the thing about these retellings, this is the second one I've read, I've also read the other one by Alexandra Bracken of A New Hope. They retell the story, and even though you've seen the film a bunch of times, they find a way to make it new. And this one had a really interesting narrative structure as well. It's second person, and, like, the reader is Luke Skywalker. But for the parts of the film that Luke isn't in, it's third person. So that was really interesting. And in between pretty much every chapter, there's, like, these little Jedi lessons about situations, like, what would you do if your friend was crying and you wanted to go over and comfort them, but then you also saw the new kid who doesn't really fit in being bullied by other people. Who would you choose? What would you do in this situation? And then at one point in a scenario like that, it was like, there is no right answer, but whatever choice you make will change you, and it might change history. And I was just like, I read it on the plane, and I was just sitting there, like, gobsmacked at this very, very deep truth that had just been thrown in my face by a kid's retelling of Star Wars Episode 5. But it was fantastic, and I actually put a picture of that on my Instagram because I was just like, yes. Yeah, but just this entire trilogy of retellings is so good. Even though I know what's going to happen, I was engaged and I cared about what was happening, and I was, you know, really involved with the story. And, like, I know that Luke is going to live, but then I was like, oh no, is Darth Vader going to kill him? They're amazing, and I gave it 5 stars, and I would definitely recommend that you pick these up if you can. If you have even the slightest inkling, do it, because it's so, so worth it, and I just love it a lot. My only quibble about this book is that there is, like, one illustration of Lando, and he does not look anything like Billy D. Williams, and you can't even tell that he's meant to be black. Like it doesn't, that's not what Lando is supposed to look like. And that was the only thing that annoyed me, that they did a disservice to Lando Calrissian. Other than that, this book is so good. So those are all the books that I'm going to talk about in this wrap up, and I will see you in my next one. Bye everyone.